Hello Indie Warriors! Literary Rose here from I Dream of Indie, bringing you some gameplay impressions of Souldiers on the PC. Souldiers is a single-player action-adventure game developed by Retro Forge and published by Dear Villagers. This 16-bit pixel art style game has puzzle platforming, Metroidvania-like map structure, and unforgiving Souls-like combat. These are my impressions after almost 5 hours of gameplay. The story of Souldiers follows a troop that, after trapped in a cave in the middle of a war, are offered the chance at a new life in another world by a Valkyrie. You play as one of these soldiers with 3 different classes to choose from: Scout, Archer, and Caster. Likewise, you have 3 difficulty options: Explorer, Soldier, and Warrior. Souldiers is a fantastic game, but it was quite a journey for me to discover that all of my own doing. When I initially played this game, I erroneously thought it was just a Metroidvania. You can imagine my surprise and frustration when I died within 5 minutes of playing. Again, and again, and again. I was ready to turn in my gamer card and accept defeat when I looked at the store description and there it was: Souls-like combat. This game is brutal in the best possible way. As a cozy game aficionado, the Souls-like combat of careful movement, memorization of enemy patterns, and actual strategy versus my typical button mashing was a shock. But once I realized what this game was about, I became hooked. One major change I had to make was I initially started at the Soldier difficulty, thinking that I wanted a balanced experience, but if your skill level is perhaps not as high as mine, you might want to do what I did, which is go back down to Explorer, where I found the combat to be much more manageable. I also initially started as a caster, but I also found that one to have its skill level a little bit above of what I was capable. So I switched to Archer for some long-range attacks. The combat is satisfying and precise and felt perfectly natural in the Xbox controller I was playing on. Every time you die, it never feels like the game's fault, but instead your lack of skill and planning. Or in this case, mine. The world of this game is vibrant in its design and colors, so much so that being stuck for 5 hours in the caverns of Spiderstem never actually became tiring. The game also performed excellent. It maintained 60 frames per second during combat. It only dipped a bit during the loading screens, but this had no effect on my experience. Souldiers also offers 7 different language options, which I was pleasantly surprised to see. My only gripe with the game, which is minimal at best, is that I would have liked the option to zoom in and out on the map. The map reminded me of a classic Metroidvania style game, but without the ability to see all the parts of the map easily. So it was a bit of a chore to have to drag the map around when it was already so zoomed in to figure out where I needed to go next, but this was a very minor inconvenience. Similar to the graphics, the sound design of Souldiers is very well done. It maintains the atmosphere of the game without being too noticeable, and it was in the mini-boss and boss battles where the music, for me, truly shined. The music in some areas gave me some nostalgia for Super Metroid in particular, and that was really lovely to experience. As someone who tends to shy away from difficult games, I cannot recommend this game enough. The combat is difficult, punishing, but absolutely satisfying. Every death becomes another opportunity to do better. And when you finally best a difficult enemy or get through a tough area, the feeling of satisfaction is like no other. Souldiers comes out on the PC for Steam on May 19th, and if anything of what you have seen or heard sounds interesting to you, dive in. Carefully, of course, it's full of traps. For now, thank you so much for watching this gameplay impressions video. I'd like to give a special thank you to all the great indie warriors and indie legends that keep this channel going. At the indie warrior level, we have Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevlo, Adriana Amato, CJR, PSC, Julian Colpus, Jesse, Raylin, Marky Mint, Dave Hart, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, Carmine Red, King of the Hatch, and Blue Francis 4. At the Legends level, we have Jen Rose, Larkison, Mitchell Hall, Eric Peach, Skeptism, C Coil, Nathan Moore, Chris Jackson, and Mr. W. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any reviews or gameplay impressions. Check out the description box to see how you can become an indie warrior yourself. Help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.